on developing emotional capacity. We've talked multiple times about your business grows to the extent that you do. And here we are, an entire chapter talking about how we perceive what's going on, how we interact with the world, how we respond to things that don't always go our way. And so I cannot wait to hear you talk about your takeaways on this section. So get those cameras on so we can see you, get those mics hot so we can hear you. And what do you guys have from chapter 6 of High Road Leadership?
Well, I have to say that is one of my favorite chapters so far. It's when it talks about how to increase your emotional capacity, the 8 points. The one that I focus the most is the one, number 2, which is control your emotions and process them quickly. It's something that I've been working a lot for the past year of my life, trying to put in place those emotions and process them quickly, And the 5 points that he mentioned here in page 107, I got like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm doing. And the challenge here is to take action myself. And yeah, I mean, this is very, very powerful information for me and very helpful as well.
So let's talk, because again, not everybody gets through all the content in the same path. So let's talk about these 5 things that he does to reflect every day. So literally end of every day gets a little alone time away from everybody and review my day by myself. And there's specific questions, which I love about this, because your subconscious loves questions. It can't help but answer them. So review my day by myself. What happened in my world today is the question. Think about myself. What did I learn about myself today? Number 3, talk to myself. What do I need to hear myself say? Number 4, direct myself. How should I apply what I've learned? And finally, number 5, take action myself. Will I follow through with action? I've talked time and time again with folks here in the last couple of weeks. We've had some amazing conversations. And I've anchored with, these conversations without action really don't have any teeth. We got to get things done. And sometimes, again, it's getting things done with an attitude of fire, aim, ready. Just taking freaking actions. You'll notice in here, it doesn't say, well, will I analyze what the right action will be? Will I go through all of the possible what ifs of that action? None of that's there. It's will I take action and see what happens? The only difference between people playing at a higher level than you and you is they've screwed up more. They've taken more action, made more mistakes, learned through those screw ups, and progressed faster because of it. What else you guys have from the content? Saline, I see your mic's hot.
Yes. I didn't get through the whole chapter, but just the first part really got to me. It talked about refuse to see yourself as a victim. And I thought that was really phenomenal. It kind of goes a lot into everything that you just said too as well. It's some of the things where no one can be a victim and lead at the same time. He said, watch your attitude. Attitude is a choice. Time. Don't allow others to dictate your time. And so I kind of wanted to share, based on the last time that we saw each other, and I've only been here the second time, but based on that first time that I got to meet with you guys, as I was listening in, I said to myself that day, and I didn't get to join you all the second day because I had to go to work, but I listened, I thought talk to myself some, as you were saying, talk to yourself. And I realized that oftentimes we try to wait for someone to give us directions in our own pursuits in life. And so I did contact my brokers and I said, hey, you guys, I kind of need more, which is okay to say that. But after I kind of shared with them my concern, I thought to myself, Celine, you are not sitting around waiting for somebody to tell you about your schedule, to tell you what you need to be doing. You have the time. You need to figure out how to do it. And yesterday I had a really, really productive day. And I was so thankful that this morning, before I read the book, I was like, yeah, if they come and tell me what to do, I'm already busy with my own business, you know? And so it's funny that the chapter, as I started listening to the chapter, talked about here, don't allow others to dictate your time, you know? And I know that might have been a different aspect, but it was everything about it. Continuing with that refuse to see yourself as a victim. It says priorities, identify and work on your priorities and potential. I am responsible for my own growth. Passion, don't wait for others to inspire or motivate me. Calling, I am responsible for the gifts and opportunities that God gave me, and I work to make the most of them and express gratitude.
Amen.
Absolutely, my dear. And here's the amazing part of what you have brought in here. You got into action and activity yesterday. You said, screw it, I'm responsible. And by the way, how much more powerful did you feel today?
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing.
So I want to go to the beginning of this, though, just to let people look at their life, maybe through these, because here were the characteristics of people with a victim mentality. And by the way, we all fall in and out of these. It's not like even
Right.
Coach Russ is immune to once in a while dropping into that victimhood for a moment. And yet here's some key elements, 3 that I want you to be thinking about. Number 1, they believe, gosh darn it, bad things have happened in the past and will continue to happen to them. And that's what they're focused on. Number 2, others are to blame for their misfortune. I don't care what happens. You look for your DNA in the situation. What could you have done differently? That's the path to accountability rather than the path to victim. And number 3, there's no point in trying to make a change because it will not work. This won't work. I had so much fun yesterday, and I don't know how many of you guys are on real estate masterminds in Facebook. I was talking to one of our compadres from this room about an agent on her team who was just complaining and unhappy and voicing that she couldn't have a big business because all these other things in life were getting in the way, especially homeschooling her kids. And so rather than creating, some challenges or questions, I went after social proof. So on Real Estate Mastermind, I posted in bold, can't be done, homeschooling and having a big business. How many of you agents do you guys think pounced on me for that statement and gave all these ways that they've done it and that they're doing it? So now in the next conversation with that person, all I have to do is point to, here's all these people getting it done. So is it can't be done, or is it you just don't know the way? See, she's in that victim mentality right there of chapter 3. It can't be done. And I was able to have some fun. Yes, by the way, I have never had that many comments on a post in my life. And there's some good ones. There's some people light me up for my bad attitude, which is quite funny. So anyway, what else you guys have from the content?
Good morning, everyone. What I took from it is I liked what it said, from that quote from Og Mandino, which is, I think it was you either kind of choose to let your actions determine your emotions, not your emotions determine your actions. That was my aha.
And I'm right here in this piece of content because for those that haven't read The Greatest Salesman in the World, I recommend it's on your reading. We talked about bringing it in. It's a great book. And there's these scrolls that it's an allegorical story about a young man who discovers these scrolls they're given to him. And one of the scrolls is, I will be master of my emotions. And it's got a number of paragraphs of how that happened. Yet here is one of the ways, and this is getting into changing your attitude by taking action. If I feel depressed, I will sing. If I feel sad, I will laugh. If I feel ill, I will double my labor. If I feel fear, I will plunge ahead. If I feel poverty, I will think of the wealth to come. If I feel incompetent, I will remember past successes. If I feel insignificant, I will remember my goals. Today, I will be master of my emotions. Get the book, read it. Incredible story. Well done. And I love this piece he pulled out just to help us anchor.
So,
we have the opportunity to take an action directly opposite of that negative feeling. Go, client.
So for those of you who just haven't noticed, you were just given a roadmap. That's what that was. It was, if this happens, do that. If this happens, do that. You literally were just given a map. Literally. Go into
The whole darn book is a map. I love it. Saline, you have something else to add to that?
No, I just, the one part of that map that I love so much is, if I feel fear, I will plunge ahead. You know, I love that one. I've had friends. I have a girlfriend that she says, I'm a fearless warrior, you fearless warrior. And, you know, I have to tell people oftentimes, I said, the truth is, I have fear. I literally fear just about every step I make in life. But the truth is, can you just stand there and freeze in fear, or do you just move forward? I say, you call me fearless because I keep going, but not because I'm fearless. And, you know, that is.
Ooh, that's deep. I love that.
Mr.
Wow,
Tom,
say that again.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, say it one more time, then I want to get to Tom. Go for it.
I said, you call me fearless because I move forward, but not because I'm fearless. I just choose to continue going, even though I'm fearless. Might have not been the exact same way I said it, but for the most part, we stand. We sometimes, when we see fear, we stand and we just freeze instead of freeze and just move ahead. So I just kind of felt really confirmed with it that said, if I feel fear, I will plunge ahead.
Oh, she froze. Look at that. She's feeling fear in the moment, yet she's going to plunge ahead. Tom Catlin, what do you got, buddy?
Well, yeah. What's interesting about that is we all have these, feel the fear and do it anyway. And something that's said towards the end of the chapter is, when you're taking steps, you're not balanced. You're not taking steps that are in complete control. Every time your foot moves forward, it's just you catching yourself from falling down. And so what she's saying is so powerful. All of this, I actually listened to it 3 times, and I could probably go back and listen to it again on the way to work or way to the office. And everything in there is just about, motion equals emotion and confirming your strengths, which is another thing that they talk about. And to that end, you may feel like you don't know what your strengths are. There's a very short book called Strength Finders 2.0. Take a test and it comes back and it spits out your top 6 attributes that helps you understand what your strengths are. And working on growing your strengths is so profound. We had the example of, I had a C in math, and so we worked on math instead of improving our strengths. I'm supposed to be a writer, not an accountant, or whatever it happens to be. So all of this is just encouragement. It's simple but not easy. It's encouragement to take a step of faith, and that's one of the things that I write down a lot. Sufficient for the day are its own concerns. Don't worry about tomorrow, or don't worry about 2 steps from now. Take this step and keep going.
Yeah, Tom, and I want to just anchor what you started with. In order to move, you must throw yourself off balance. Your foot just catches the fall. That's what walking is. That's what running is. This whole section, though, is out of section 6. Become comfortable with discomfort. I always say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you are, the more you're getting done, the more you're moving forward, the more that is happening on your growth journey. So you got to do things that make you uncomfortable. It's why we have conversation time in the afternoon that you guys are missing out on, because you can actually be doing the uncomfortable work of having conversations. And if you do it often enough, magically it becomes comfortable. And we all know you get paid in direct proportion to the number of conversations you have. So if you're not having them because you're uncomfortable, all you're doing is robbing you and your family of the finances to change your life. What else you guys have? Justin, I see your mic's hot, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with telling you guys a funny little story. So through a local chamber of commerce, I met with a networking group for a few years, and there is a John Maxwell who is a sales trainer. I think he works with, or his business is called Blue Engine. So over the years, I would hear stuff about John Maxwell and his books and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, man, this guy's like, he's really knocking the cover off the ball compared to like how I regarded him when I met him in person. And at some point before starting to read this book, I realized that there were 2 John Maxwells in that success space or coaching author space, but I thought it was funny. This is the first John Maxwell book I've read. And on the first day, I commented, and I thought it was kind of funny about J.B. Pritzker quoting stuff from The Office and whatever. But as I've gotten through chapter by chapter, I really appreciate the quotes in here and the little lists and the things that are almost like quadrants or comparisons. You know, this level of leadership does this, and this one does this. So there's a bunch of good ones in here today. The Charlton Heston quote, I think, is awesome. Why so glum? I got to be me. I really like that. And my favorite one is this: the easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them be in that position. And I took that and thought about it like, if I'm struggling, am I trying to be something else besides me? So is that a self-check? That's and yeah, I just really like these quotes.
Hey, Justin, can I put? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. I talked already.
No, go, client, and then we're gonna get to do
it.
Go.
So, Justin, I am going to struggle because I am trying to be someone else besides who I am currently. That is why I struggle, because I'm trying to become a new person. Does that make sense? Or did I read that wrong?
You're doing it by choice of who you desire to become, not by force of what others think of you. That's the key takeaway in this piece. You being you and growing, awesome. You attempting to please other people, not so awesome. Dorothy, what do you got?
I once met John Maxwell in person at a conference, and I was just a nameless face in a crowd of 2,000, but I happened to be standing next to him. And the way he treated me made me feel as if I were the most special person he had ever met in his whole life. His eyes were open and confirming and encouraging and loving and supportive. And I was blown away. And I feel like he's my friend forever. But that was 15 years ago. But what a manifestation of what he's saying.
Yeah, by the way, he is absolutely one of those guys that can make you feel like the most important person and the only person in a room when he is spending time with you. Now, Kim, if you're still in here, can you get that mic and camera hot? Because I would love to have this conversation. You know me, I love these.
I totally
Yeah, I look
disagree. I
forward
don't
to
think
it.
anyone really knows who they are. And I think that that's why there's always a struggle, both internally and externally. And I think that that's where a lot of the conflict in the world comes from.
Nobody.
Can I share
Very
on
few
that?
people.
Hold on. Let me have this conversation with Kim first. Nobody, Kim?
Very few. Very
Now,
few people have a true sense of identity and a sense of self.
awesome. Now, here's the fun part as we're going down this road. What do you think has occurred that has them not have that true sense of self-identity?
Lack self introspection.
Lack of self-introspection. What else?
Trauma.
They've been forced to.
I heard trauma out there. What else, Kim?
I think they've been forced to conform to definitions and standards put on them by other people or society.
Awesome. No, because here's someone behind you who knows their identity. Right?
Him?
Yes. He absolutely knows.
He doesn't know.
He's cool
No.
with it. And he's not attempting to prove anything to anybody, and he wants to be part of the conversation. I'm going to challenge that at our core, we know if we just start stripping away the baggage we picked up, the stories we picked up, because I believe personally that we were created in perfection, each and every one of us. Every one of you is a perfect being of light carrying around this baggage that you picked up that's not allowing you to be you.
Okay, I could agree with that.
And here's the fun part with it, Kim. I'm going to challenge all of you today just to try on who you think you should be. Okay? Just try it on. Whenever
I get to try on being a king. I get to try being a king.
I love that response, Ryan.
If that's who you believe, by the way, and here's again where this goes, client. If you start behaving like a king, believing like a king, okay? If you truly start being that individual, I bet you magic will happen. It'll start showing up in your world. So for
Yes,
all
sir.
of you, whatever that looks like, lean into it. Play with it. Here's the other fun part, Kim. Are you a tree? Once you choose, are you stuck there?
No.
You get to evolve. That's why this part client brought in of I'm uncomfortable because I'm growing. Hey, maybe I'm moving a little. Maybe I'm changing my perspective of me and improving a skill set. For me personally, I'll put it out there with all of you. You know, I truly believe that I am a leader, and historically, my skills have not been as strong. I've been a great coach. I've been a great teacher. Yet this leadership piece that I'm continuing to improve is now manifesting itself through people showing up. How do you know you're a leader?
You got followers.
If you have people following you.
Thank you. That's the only requirement. Okay? You can't be a leader if you don't have followers. And I've got 20 people in this room now that are tying into the environment that I get to create as a leader. So thank you for that.
Hey, Russ, what did we start out with, Russ? Remember when we first said we were going to do this and we had like 3 people? Remember that?
Oh, when I started
do.
this room almost 3 years ago, many days it was just me in there. And then 1 or 2, and we started showing and rolling and more. And then really we took a turn and started this growth back in August when we started then as a leader leveraging into other people's stuff. So let's take this again to the next natural step. A leader knows they don't know it all. Most humble person in the space. And so since August, I've just been sharing other people's stuffs and my hot takes on it. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. I appreciate you all here sharing. Who else has something that hasn't spoken up yet? We got 2 more minutes.
On page 112, there's a conversation about things that you can't control. And he was complaining. And his friend basically told him what he's complaining about isn't a problem. And he responded, "It isn't?" And the guy said, "No, it's a fact of life." And then later on it says, "Complaining about a fact of life is like howling at the moon." We got to get over some of this stuff, folks, and just recognize, okay, this is just a part of life. And it's just something that's going to be there and we can overcome anyway. So
let's have some fun with you guys on this. What a client does, what a client says, how another agent reacts, the pieces of their offer. Can we control any of that?
No.
Nah.
Nope.
Whatever comes at us usually, we can't control any of that. How much time, though, do you spend bitching and moaning? Oh, my gosh, I cannot believe that the seller won't mow the lawn. I heard that one this week. Like, if you really care about it, you really control it, hire somebody, get it done. You get to control you. So I love it. If you want to have conversations about how you get better, 100% in your control. Everybody else, I plan on ignoring those pieces